Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is George Kingori. I'm your online finance guy who speaks about all things finance, how you can be able to save, how you can be able to invest, and how you can be able to grow in your financial journey. And today I'm going to continue the series that I began on how people are scammed. And today my topic is how women are scammed in online dating things, and how they lose money, they lose fortunes, and what actually happens. So how do you get to a point of an American lady being conned, being detained in a Nigerian hotel for months and months and losing all her fortune, or a UK lawyer in the UK who should have all the knowledge and foresight being conned of more than £350,000 by these online men who, or women, or whoever they are, scammed such a high amount of money. So what usually happens? So the first thing that you should understand is that these people are desperate. They have nothing to lose, and they are willing to do anything and everything to be able to get the money that they need to get from you, and so that they can be able to make their lives better, or just for their own personal greed. So the first thing that they do, some of them use voodoo and magic and charms and things like that to be able to convince you to be able to accept whatever they are saying and to send your money. You would be surprised by how some of these things actually happen. In fact, I know somebody personally in my circles who met somebody in town who just greeted their hand, and they convinced them to go with them to the bank and withdraw money and give them. And when they regained their consciousness later on, they realized that they gave the person up to around 20,000 shillings. They withdrew money and gave this person, somebody they have never met, somebody they just greeted, and somebody who just convinced them. So sometimes these things that people use, these charms and all these things, sometimes do work. And these online guys go in big on these things because they need to convince you over a large geographical area or over the internet enough for you to be able to send your bank details, to marry them, and to send money. So what do? The first thing that they do not just send you emails or SMS. Some of them do, especially the inexperienced ones, the ones that send text messages like this. These men send these text messages abruptly, and sometimes to other men, and they cast their nets wide, and whoever will respond, it begins to go from there. One of those things that you need to understand is the ones that actually get you are the ones who do a lot of research. They go to social media, they go to Instagram, they look at your profile, they look at whether you have a significant other, they look at whether you are rich enough or you have enough money. In fact, the best profile for these scammers is if you are beyond the age of 35, you are single, or you are recently separated from a significant other, and you either do not have children or have children, but you are desperately in need of a relationship. You have probably subscribed to a dating channel, or you have your status as single, and you are actively searching for a significant other. And you are the classical example of the person that they are looking for. So they have to get the information on who is it that they are going to go, because unless you're doing like the other one where you're casting the net wide and assuming you will get at least one other person, this other one is more specific and more effective. And these ones are the ones that are most painful and the ones that are going to be most lethal to women. So what do? When they get all this information, they classify all this information. Then they start the initial communication. There is that initial communication that they send. They usually send a certain profile that matches the kind of thing that you desire. So the first profile that they send is of a military man, somebody who is fighting in a war or is in a peace mission, but somebody who is in the military, either as a UN army personnel who is deployed by the UN for peacekeeping, or a humanitarian doctor or worker in a refugee setting or in a humanitarian setting, or a foreign businessman. But you have to understand that they must have some level of not being able to get you directly. So they have to be away, either out of the country for missions, or businessmen who are in a foreign country, or military men who are serving in a different country. But the availability has to not be there, because they do not need to show you who they are in the initial phase, because once you know who they are in the initial phase, you will not accept to do what they need you to do, which is send them money or liquidate your assets and give them the proceeds. So they need to put a distance, and that is why there has to be some element of not being able to get to where they are. So they start by giving you that profile. So they create a certain image of who they are in your mind. Then they send you images like this, as opposed to images, real images of their actual life like this. And you start falling in love with the idea of the kind of person that they are. Remember, you are past 35 and you are increasingly having the urge to get married and settle down and have children and do all these things that your friends are doing. So you are a little bit desperate to be able to get to that level. And when they create that image of this successful person, or this person who is doing a mission, or who is achieving all these things, it creates a certain image. And sometimes they just use profile of actual people on social media and give you all these images in continuity. Because remember, they need to sell the story, because it is either they sell or else. Because if you do not buy into the idea, you would not actually send the money. So the communication starts. Remember, their goal is to make you fall in love, and fall in love you will. So once you respond to the initial email, they continue with communication. So remember, ladies fall in love because of what they hear. Men start by falling in love by what they see. So if you are a woman, they start to tell you things that you want to hear, and they communicate the message that they are charming, that they are affectionate, and remember, you saw that they are handsome. So they start communicating in a compassionate way, in a way to show you that they're people who have feelings. They're the kind of people who can be able to be passionate. They actually give you a listening ear. They actually show you that they're there for you. And so you start falling in love with the idea of love. And so they create a certain level of love. When you need romance, they show you romance. They send you poems. And remember, anyone can be able to get poems online. They send you poems. They call you and ask you, how has your day been? They do all the works that somebody does to be able to woo a woman. And so you are now getting warmed up. You are getting warmed up with this image of love. Then the other thing is now the entanglement. Because the longer you get in this phase of being showered with this love and affection that you never received before, you start falling in love with the idea, and you start becoming entangled. And remember, at this stage of entanglement, that is when you cannot really use your mind, because your mind is overtaken by the emotion you feel in your heart. And this is where the money meets the road to that scammer's pocket. So the first thing that they do is they can be able to do in several stages. So I will go step by step. The first one is they could be able to send you a link to be able to either do something, and because you're in love, either to be able to retrieve a gift or to be able to do something, but a link that they send to your email or your DM, the one that you're supposed to click to be able to go further and get the information and all these things. However, this link is usually a phishing email. It is an email that sends a virus or a worm direct to your computer to be able to acquire all your financial information, all your passwords, all your banking information. And if you have saved any information from purchasing anything online, and all your credit card details and bank details are there, or you have opened your bank account through the internet, it gets all this information. So now they have access to your financial information. They can be able to enter your bank account. They can be able to withdraw money from your account and all these things. So that is the first way that they start getting money to you. They could use this route alone or in other routes also. If they are unable to get to this level, they can go to the next level or they could stop there. But that is the first level. This email to send a virus direct to you and acquire all your personal information and banking data. Then the other thing that they do is they could tell you that they are sending a gift to you. So they are going to send you a gift, and it's an expensive gift. In fact, they have shown you an image of this gift and you are excited because this foreign person has not only fallen in love with you, but they are starting to send you these expensive gifts, and they even tell you the financial value. So you start creating a certain image of the gift that you're going to receive. Then later on, you receive a call telling you that your gift has been received, but it has been held by the tax authorities or the customs authorities. So you need to send money to be able to recover or to pay taxes on these things so that it can be able to be sent to your address. This, of course, is a low-level scam. This is for the people who are amateurs and starting out, but it does happen. So they tell you they're sending you a gift for $1,000, but you have to clear by sending $200 or 20,000 shillings to them. That is why I'm saying this is a low-level scam. The most highly experienced ones do not go for this because this is little money, is pocket change. But it does happen. Then the other one is, of course, a little bit more serious. And this is meeting and kidnapping. So they would be able to tell you to be able to meet. Maybe they would tell you that I'm actually in your town and I would love to meet you. And they would structure this meeting to be able to meet up in a way that they come and pick you as you go to this and this direction. However, they have planned in such a way that it is actually kidnapping you. So they come and they pick you, but they kidnap you and they get all your information. They ask you to ask all your friends for information. They try to milk all your relatives from their hard-earned cash by demanding ransom and all these things, and they clear all your bank accounts and all these things. If you have a car, they steal it and sell it while you are being kidnapped and all these things. This is again a little bit sinister and a little bit more risky. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened to a friend's aunt, and the person wanted to kidnap them, but they felt so sorry and actually told them, I'm actually a scammer, I wanted to do this, but I could not go through with it because I actually do like you. So again, this happens. It's not so common because again it is a little bit risky and all these things, and is actually a criminal offense in most places. So it may happen or may not happen. So you might be kidnapped by this person physically. So it happens, so be careful. Stop meeting people alone, especially people that you have met online and for the first time. Go with your friend, and all these things may not, and not just a friend, but a male friend or a brother or a company of many other people in a public space. Don't accept to be picked by cars and all these things. So ensure that you are not kidnapped, and all these things you will be able to change. Then the other one is where they tell you to send airfare. So they told you they are foreign people, and so you want to meet them, and so they tell you, oh, I come from this country, please send airfare, blah 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 blah. So you send your money to them. Airfare, maybe they tell you the airfare is say €1,000 and they need to pay, and actually make it difficult for you to be able to pay on your end so that they may be able to come, and they might tell you that it is actually cheaper to be able to pay locally. So you send them money over to them so that they can be able to book this flight. Then again, they raise an issue continuously, so you need to send more money. Oh, there's visa processing fees, blah 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 blah. So this scams allows them to get money from you through airfare and monies that you send and all these things. Again, this is also a low level scam, but it actually does happen where you send your money and they just eat your money. It might not be a lot of money, but this is not the king of scams. That is yet to come. Then the other one is where they tell you that we are in a war zone. Remember the military guy? Or the guy who is now working in humanitarian settings, they might be now in a war zone, and they might be in a desperate situation, and they may be trapped, and they may need to bribe people to be able to go through borders to be able to get to safety, and they may not be able to access their bank accounts. So you start sending them money to help them to be able to move from this dangerous war zone and these conditions to be able to get to safety and maybe fly to where you are so that you can live happily ever after. So that is another way that they start scamming you, and they start saying that they have been kidnapped and all these things. Again, a whole other story that allows you to feel that this person that you love may be in trouble, and you start sending money. So that is also another one. The other one is physical marriage and embezzlement. So some of them may actually come to your country. They may come to your country, and because they know, they have done their research, you know you're somebody who is rich and well off, and then they marry you, and then they start living with you. But then slowly by slowly they start gaining access to all your financials. They start getting passwords to your banks, they start getting access to your title deeds, they start getting access to all these financial things. And you know, they start telling you, let us build a home back in Nigeria or Kenya or wherever, in their home country, because they start feeling they need to be able to secure a place at home because it's an African thing. And you start realizing that it's important to be able to do these things, and you start building a home back home, and you start giving them access to your bank accounts. But slowly by slowly, they're embezzling from you. Slowly by slowly, they start refinancing your house, they start selling these assets, and all. They start changing their names of the cars to themselves. So it is a slow fizzling process, and by the time you realize what is happening, you have taken access of all your assets and things. So this is again a slow one, but is a king among scams, because they actually acquire the citizenship, they acquire your assets, you build a home for their parents, and you invest back home for them. So they start winning. Again, this is a little bit riskier for them because it's a foreign country. You could go to the courts, unlike their home country where they have an advantage over you. But when they get to that level of getting your assets and investing back at home, they have already gotten enough so that even if they are deported, they have made enough money from you. Some of them are so pathetic that they may continue scamming other women whilst they're living with you. So again, fall in love with your eyes open so that you can be able to see any red flags that may be flying across your marriage with that man. So the next one is also involving marriage. So this one is physical marriage and fraud via the spouse. So this is where they marry you physically in your country, and they either continuously embezzle you, or they start asking you for bank details. And when these other people are being scammed out there, the money actually goes through you. And this has been happening especially where Nigerian men move out of their country to other foreign countries or nations in Africa and other places, and marry these women and start using these women as conduits to be able to con and scam other people. So what happens with this scam is they start using your name, because again, Nigerian names are actually bad out there, and people know Nigerian conmen, but they might not know, say, Ghanaian conmen, they might not know Kenyan conmen, they might not know South African conmen, and especially ladies. So now it's a lady and it's a Kenyan, they are more trustworthy than some Nigerian Yahoo boy in a cyber, or somebody who comes from Nigeria. So they start implicating you in crimes from the day you get married to them. And when the chicken comes to roost, you are the one who is going to be arrested, and they will just simply walk away, because it is your name, it is your bank accounts, you are the one who collects the money in Western Union, so you are the one who is arrested. So these ones are even worse than these other ones, because not only will they leave you broke, but they will implicate you in crime and walk away. So you are arrested because of who you got married to. So these are scams that are happening and they are affecting women, and you need to know how to get out of these scams. So how do you get out of these scams? So how do you avoid these things? The first thing you need to do is keep your bank details secret. Do not share your bank details with other people. Do not share how much you make and all this information, especially your current income. Especially as a single lady, do not share too much information as regards to your banking information and financial information. So avoid and try to reduce on that as much as possible. Again, in relation to this, as regards to social media, keep your profiles private from other third parties beyond your friends and followers and things like that. So keep the outside world away from your private screen and private information, because again, remember, they started with acquiring the information from your social media and your postings to be able to know the kind of person that you are and how they can be able to actually get you. So the other thing that you need to do is do not travel alone to meet this person. Travel with a group of friends, and do not travel in their country, because remember, like I told you, you might travel in their country, then they kidnap you also. And remember, when they kidnap you, they get all this information and start asking your relatives for money so that they can release you and all these things. So do not travel to their home country. No. Do not travel to their home country. And if they're meeting in your home country, go with your friends, because they cannot really kidnap 3 people all at once. It can be a little bit tricky. Do not go again with their personal cars. Do not be picked with their personal cars, because where are you being taken to? So ensure that you have friends around you. Then the other thing is fall in love with your eyes open. Yes, not closing your eyes and lifting your one leg as you fall in love. Fall in love with your eyes open and with your friends around. Yes, because a friend will tell you, no, this Agnes, this is wrong, this is trouble for them, and they will tell you. So fall in love with your eyes open and with your friends around. Do not fall in love, especially with these COVID times, in your own personal house, working in the house and living in the house and falling in love alone on the internet. So have your friends around. Let them be able to fish out what is wrong with this person. The other thing you need to do is do a thorough search of this person. If they send you images of who they are, you can do a reverse Google search with these images, and they will be able to direct you to where this image has been posted. If it appears to be somebody else, it is images they have picked from that website and send you. So do a thorough search, and especially a photo search on Google. It will tell you everything, because remember, they do not scam you with their real images. They scam you with other images so that they can be able to entice you to send this money. The other thing that you need to do is you need to do to be able to avoid these scams is start showing off your significant other. He might not be the most handsome man in the world. He might not be the most look-worthy person in the world, but because he is there, scammers will keep off. You will never hear scammers scamming married women or people who are engaged or people who are entangled with other people. Why? Because you are not available to them. So where possible, have the image of your person there, because they will not even try to get to you. Then the other thing is stop clicking on links that you receive from emails from these people, either you know them as boyfriend from abroad, or people who have just sent you emails with certain deals and all these things. Stop clicking on these links, because when you click on them, they might get your financial information. And remember, scam number 1, they will be able to get your bank details and withdraw money from your Visa cards and bank. So avoid as much as possible to click on these links. I hope that you are learning, you are growing, and you are becoming better in your financial journey. I'm going to continue this scam series so that I can be able to show you scams that even men are gotten. So remember to share this information with others so that this can help others, so that our women are not scammed, they are not taken advantage of in any way or form. Thank you for coming to the channel, and remember to subscribe. Thank you and enjoy your day.